Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Craggy Brook Witchery. I had a request from a subscriber of mine, which is the Boujee Mystic. I've mentioned him before. Now, he sent me a query that someone was trying to get into tarot, but that they didn't like the vibe of the wands equaling fire and the swords being air. So he said, do you have any decks that show the different energies? And if you do, could you do a video? So here we are. This is one of the decks that I've brought forward that actually does change the elements, in that it's such a fascinating world when you enter this Tarot of the Cat People. I have two of their decks, and it's by Karen Kuykendall and put out by US Games. But you can get this book to help you through it. So if you have one of those creative minds that can, fall into fantasy and really enjoy that, as well as following a system, this girl has created a deck with a different system. So what you're looking at are the majors in the middle, the four suits. But what she has done here is, as I say, create a world, the Tarot of the Cat People. Now, the majors, this pile here, it is referred to as Vapala, and it is the Diamond Kingdom. Now, the swords over here are actually fire people, and they are from the Ruby Kingdom. And then we have our wands, which are referred to as the Emerald Kingdom and the Sand People. Now, the cups over here, they're the Topaz Kingdom and the Salt People. And the pentacles are the Sapphire Kingdom and the Rock People. So some of it makes perfect sense, and some of it you have to sort of let your imagination flow. The Valpala people here, she refers to them as the competitive natured, the resourceful people. They're from the grasslands in her imagination, and they overlook deserts. So they sort of are above, just like the Trumps are the higher energies. The Valpala here are the higher energies. Now the swords, she refers to them as being the aggressive, courageous, but also the volatile. And as I say, she says they are the fire people. Now the wands, she indicates their natures being intelligent, conservative, and very creative. And there's more to it when you look in the book. The cups, these are the people that find a sense of emotional balance and healing and harmony in her world, and that fulfillment that they feel when there are achievements made. So they are the harmonious group. And then the Ace of Pentacles down here starts off the Rock People, and she likes to refer to them as the stable, the conservative, the creative, the artistic as well. And they live in the lands of prosperity. So when you travel through these cards, you can bring to it what you know about the suits. You can keep the suits the way that you are normally going to in tarot, but you don't have to. You can play with it, and you can even think of them in their realms. And it is quite fascinating, and it'll take you probably a couple passes through the book to really understand it. But let's take a look through some of the cards. So this is going out to the Boujee Mystic. I hope it helps your friend, because I am all about sharing, and this is the one deck that really stirs it up. So There is our Fool, the Magician. So she was a costume designer as well as illustrator. I think she's still alive. I shouldn't say was. And you also have to look within the fabric and within the backgrounds because there's all kinds of things going on. So we not only have the lovers of the people, the Vapala, but we also have the nature. And it's the artwork with the stipples of the colors and things like that. It really is something. Everybody likes the Hermit card. Really gorgeous. So the colors are quite rich. The fabrics, fascinating. This reminds me of Alice and the Cheshire Cat. So the enlightenment when we can connect to nature even. Pretty special death card. There is our Devil. This is an interesting one in that the tower is a cat. And even the cat is falling from the tower. The star, the moon. And I'm not sure how much time I'll have to show all the other decks I brought out because now I'm getting entranced by this artwork. So what I was thinking was how many other people out there don't jive necessarily with the way the elements have been put to us through many, many tarot decks. So let's take a look at her fire suit here, the Swords. And some of the decks that I brought out, it's not necessarily switching the elements, but renaming the elements, not the typical ones that we're used to. And how people work through that, sometimes it's quite a challenge, and you have to have cheat sheets beside you. So I think once you read the book, you might start to pick up the fire energy that she's talking about here in the Swords. And this is Karen Kuykendall who's created this. And I think it took a long time to come to fruition. And I believe she was working out of Arizona. So you do get that sort of desert feel in a lot of the cards. The heat. And I should show you the backs. So they would be reversible for you. Then we go on to the Wands, the Sand People, maybe I'll stick these here so the focus can relax if it's having issues. So the wands even appear quite different, as in the shape. They almost look like chess game pieces. Look at the colors in there. I'm not sure what the medium was, but it looks to me like there's probably colored pencil. And it would take many layers to get that richness. And I missed the king. There's our king. So quite an elegant couple. All right. So these are the salt people. The cardstock is really good. Some might be a little bit put off by the writing on the side. And some of the rooms are fabulous. They're almost like a sanctuary where each one of these cups or emotions or feelings has its own place. And I do like how the face here turns to look at these tipped over cups rather than just walking away. The emotions still are pulling on the heartstrings. Even the cat's head being down gives you that sense of despair. He really does seem to have it all. He seems contented, as well as his felines. So the page, the knight, our queen, and the king. So now it is the pentacles, the rock people. I like how the cat is watching. The heaviness, even it feels. This is neat in that, the Eight of Coins or Eight of Pentacles to me is usually the art card, but it brings in the other arts, the musical. That's quite a king. I thought we'd just lay out a few and see how they look together. So I'm just going to do a little shuffle off camera and lay a few out. I thought I'd let you see that the cards can shuffle quite fabulously. The stock is really, really nice. And this is an older deck, so it's really keeping its shape. Some people may not like the white borders, but I suppose you could cut it down if you wanted to. So they are quite nice together. I think it's the colors. It deserves a pretty rich cloth, velvety cloth. And if you wanted to see some of the, let's do a Celtic cross and just see how that looks. That's always my fave go-to. Don't know whether we can get it all on the screen, but I guess we can't. But, you know, you can see how it's going to look pretty nifty on a cloth. Let's see if we can do a 3-card reading, actually, asking the question that, would this deck work for Boujee's friend? Would it help them with the elemental energy? Yeah, let's do that. Hang on. Okay, so we'll put it out there that someone was looking for a deck with a little bit of elemental energy switch up that would appeal to them more if they turned to this deck. Would it work with them? I guess you would almost have to like cats too. But if you like a storyline, let's just see. The Emperor. Well, it might give a really good foundation, and you know the Emperor is really about working with other people, but maybe we can check some of the meanings that come up in the book. There's our 8 of Wands. There's an art to it. There's an amount of work to be put into it in order to connect with this deck. And the Queen of Wands, but it's gonna give you that passion, that strength, that courage, and that ability to help others. If you want to read for others, this might be a really great deck. So let's see what the book says. We'll go to the little white one first because that'll be faster and easier. And let's just see. I've got to switch my, you see how small these things are? I will switch my glasses up and we'll see. Okay, thinking of Boujee's friend. Well, the Emperor is very proud and self-confident. He feels secure in his position. So I think the deck feels it's kind of proud of how it looks. It has a certain confidence to it. And I think others might be inspired when they see it, as well as the friend. I mean, it brings a little bit of youthfulness, it says, and it's never boring or weary. And a sense of regalness, especially with the snow leopard there. Its fur is thick and lush, rich, looking without being garish, as befits the subtle cat. It does go into divinatory meanings there, and it does have reversed as well. Let's see if I can get anything from the 8 of Wands. Now this one is suggesting that a woman or a person has to move fast in order to juggle her wands and to keep them in constant motion without dropping them. When one makes decisions too quickly on impulse, one often has to perform a balancing act in order to keep the results of such decisions from conflicting. Each wand symbolizes an impulse, a decision that one might later regret. The little cat has no such notions. He only wants to play. So act swiftly. You might have sudden progress or movement, and it might be speedy, and it might help things advance for your person, Boujee, rather quickly. And to finish off with the Queen of Wands, it suggests try to be able to adapt at all kinds of situations and people to think on your feet with finesse and tact. and she extends her wand in a gesture of welcome. Well, that's pretty darn nice. You've got an emperor, a queen, and an 8. So in the heart of the matter is just working through it. And I would suggest, if you wish this deck, if you can still get it, to try to get the book. It is quite hefty, 179 pages. It gives you spreads, a little bit more information than what is in the little white book. And you get photographs, not colored ones, but you do get photographs. And it talks about the cat people, the regions that they belong to. Quite fascinating. There's something appealing to me about the colors and that it's got people and animals. So if you don't like peoply decked, I know at Marilyn's tarot take, she's not into peoply deck, but you do have some felines running through here. So Boujee, I send that out. I hope that helps. And let me know what the other person thinks after reviewing the video.